Hello there, welcome to my views and news. Some news stories from Ethiopia and Eritrea. Firstly, a rally was due to be held or is due to be held on Sunday in Addis Ababa. Uh, Rally participants want want to call for withdrawal of military from Amhara region, from Oromia region. Preparations have been ongoing. The rally organizers sought permission from the government. Uh, so is the rally going to be held or government is trying to arrest rally organizers? Secondly, state of emergency imposed in some parts of Tigray. Tigray interim government has taken this decision. What happened there? And thirdly, Yamane Gebremeskel, Eritrean information minister, sent a veiled message to Ethiopia. I think what he shared is meant for Ethiopia. What did he say? Firstly, viewers, a few days ago I reported that some political parties and organizations had called for a big demonstration in the capital city. Slogan of the demonstration was that military must withdraw from Amhara region, from Oromia region, and talks should start between Amhara groups and Ethiopian government. The organizers included members of political parties, small political parties, not PP or OLF or OFC or TPLF, but other small parties like Baldiras, Ethiopian People's Evolutionary Party, etc. These parties asked for permission. They applied for permission from Addis Ababa government. I think the request for permission was declined, but preparations were underway. It was being said that rally would be held. So that is why today Ethiopian government launched a crackdown. One rally organizer has been arrested. Others are also being hunted down. Their houses are being raided. When this announcement for demonstration was made, if you remember, I said that maybe government had a hand in the rally, that government wanted to have a face saving to withdraw forces from Amhara. But at the same time, I said that it was almost impossible for ENDF to withdraw from Amhara because the day ENDF withdraws from Amhara, Fano would sweep across Amhara region. Now, it seems that either government has no hand in the holding of the rally or it does not want this rally to be held because it could not get the required support, required strength. Number of participants is not likely to be very high. Whatever the reason is, government is preventing the rally. By the way, no protests are allowed in Ethiopia. Only pro-government, government-backed protests are allowed in Ethiopia. That is why I say that only election has been held in Ethiopia. There has been no true democracy in Ethiopia, no genuine opposition, no freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of media. Yes, Ethiopia is better than Eritrea. It does not mean that Ethiopia is in an ideal state. No. Ethiopia needs to do a lot. And one of the reasons behind conflict in Ethiopia is that there is no true democracy. One party rule, you can say. I wouldn't say one man rule like Isaias Afwerki's rule in Eritrea. That is one man rule. In Ethiopia, there is one party rule, prosperity party rule, ruling in alliance with military and church, you can say. Let's see which will the rally be organized. Will the organizers somehow manage to gather crowd? Remains to be seen. But so far, the organizers say that their people are being arrested, their houses are being raided. It means that military operation in the Amhara region is set to go on. It will continue. And no signs of any resumption of peace talks between Ola and government too. Small-scale clashes between Ola and government forces being reported in Oromia. Secondly, viewers, second news story is about imposition of state of emergency in Tigray, where famine is engulfing parts of Tigray in 5 zones of Tigray, which consist of 32 districts and 196 cabales. State of emergency has been imposed by the government, Tigray interim government. Tigray interim government says that due to famine, there is emergency situation in these 5 zones. USAID and World Food Program have started, they've resumed supply of food aid to the people of Ethiopia, of Tigray, and only 20% resumption of food aid uh, has happened so far. 20% population is accessible, those who are in need. USAID, World Food Program need to do more, but I always say that basic primary responsibility of feeding people lies with governments, Tigray interim government, Ethiopian federal government. But they shift this responsibility to aid organizations. Let's hope that someday a state of emergency is imposed in Ethiopia for creation of jobs for youths. State of emergency is imposed in Ethiopia to educate each and every youth. State of emergency is imposed to resolve conflicts through dialogue. Uh, so, two states of emergency imposed: one in Amhara, where military operation is ongoing, and the other in Tigray. By the way, Tigray is faced with multiple challenges. Hard times ahead for Tigray economically. Uh, its sectors of education, health, uh, suffered a lot in the 2 year long war. Return of IDP is a big challenge. Then status of Raya Volkaev, unclear. Uh, then accountability for war crimes, nowhere to be seen. Regional election, rift between TPLF and interim government. There are lots of issues in Tigray which need to be handled. Let's see how Tigray interim government rises to this occasion or not. Thirdly, with Yemane Gebremeskel, Eritrean Information Minister, has sent a veiled message to Ethiopia. When Ethiopian PM a few months ago talked about the Red Sea, he tried to prove that Ethiopia had natural rights to gain access to the sea, that Ethiopia in the past had access to 2 ports. Ethiopia was owner of 2 ports, but now Ethiopia has no port and more than 130 million people are suffering. So he tried to prove through historical context that Ethiopia must have access to the sea. And that narrative, that position was countered by neighboring countries, Eritrea, Somalia, Djibouti, all issued statements rejecting PM Abiy's position. Yemane Gebremeskel, the information minister of Eritrea, spoke about revisiting of history in a tweet a few hours ago. His message is meant for Ethiopia. He has shared a centuries old map of Europe. That's centuries ago, Europe was not like it is today. And he talked about the British Empire, that it was said that sun never sets in British Empire. But now this British Empire has turned into dozens of countries. You cannot turn back the clock of history. It will lead to global chaos. Who is this message for? Obviously for Ethiopia. Because Ethiopia is trying to use historical context to claim access to the sea. So Yemane is telling Ethiopian government that if you want to go back a few decades ago, uh, maybe a few centuries ago, things were different. International borders cannot be violated. If all countries start quoting historical context to gain access to other territories, to seas, to other ports, it will lead to a global chaos. This chaos will engulf the entire world. Obviously, the message is for Ethiopian PM Abiy, who has toned down his rhetoric about access to the Red Sea. US warned Ethiopia. Ethiopia should not consider any military option to gain access to the Red Sea. Red Sea countries showed their concern to Supreme Abiy's government is slightly at the back foot. I have not seen any new statements from the Prime Minister, though some moves are being made. Ethiopia in talks with Somaliland, with Kenya. It's going to organize an air show in coming days. It organized a big military parade in Addis Ababa. Ethiopia flexing its muscle, but it's not preparing for a war. I think Isas Afwerki's diplomacy worked. He managed to unite Red Sea countries against Ethiopia. Thank you for watching.